get this party started. Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Petra Roeder. I'm the Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs here at UW-Oshkosh, and I have the honor and privilege of serving as the Mistress of Ceremonies today. So, as we move into our grand opening and dedication of our newest residence hall, Horizon Village. Grand opening, I believe, is kind of a misnomer, since the building has been open for more than a few weeks now. And in my mind, the grand opening was Labor Day weekend, when over 300 students and their families moved into this building to make this their new home. So it is also our first residence hall in almost 40 years, and it is a green, state-of-the-art, and a new and different living and housing option for our students. And for me, that's what's truly grand about it. For months now, I've been hearing how excited people are about this building and how they could get a chance to come inside and check out our newest dormitory. Well, I can tell you that word makes me cringe because this is no dormitory. Dorm is a four-letter word in my book. A dormitory is built of mortar and beams and cinder block, and it's a place to eat and sleep. But this is so much more. It's a residence hall, a community, a living learning center, and a home for many of our students. And it was built with care and love and dreams and a clear view of the future and the library. Need to put a little side note here. The view of the library, or convenient access to the library, was one of our students that were working on the project, kind of their demand and wish and need. So it makes me very proud that they would want to have a new residence hall right next to a library. A little bit verklempt when I think about it. It is with mixed emotions that I say, gone are Nelson, Breeze, and Clemens, but I can tell you they will never be forgotten. Those buildings live on as parts of this building, and parts of those buildings were actually used in the construction and design of Horizon, such as the focal point of our fireplace. We have 3 conference rooms that are and will be the key areas for student activity, learning, and leadership, and they've been named after these 3 outstanding former UW-Oshkosh faculty members. Today we welcome many distinguished guests who are here to celebrate or help us celebrate this event. Legislator Gordon Hintz, members of UW-Oshkosh faculty, staff, and students and governance leaders. You can wave your hands. All right. We also have our provost, Lane Ernst, Dean Coker, Vice Chancellor Tom Suntleitner, and other staff members. We also have members of the Oshkosh community, including members of the City Council and our own Mayor, Burke Tower. This building has been a long time coming and part of an extensive 7-biennium residence life master plan. This was made possible by the vision of many individuals, including Tom Fodick, Jim Chitwood, and the staff of Residence Life, and all the student leaders in what's called USRH, the United Students in Residence Halls. Also, a special thanks goes out to the folks at UW System, especially David Miller and Maura Donnelly, as well as the Building Commission and the Department of State Facilities. I'd like to thank, at this time, Joe Sokolow, Bill Holmont, and Gary Stewart, who worked on this project. Thank yous go out to our architects and engineers of VOA, out of Chicago, and Burns and Sherbers out of Green Bay. You've done good. Thank you. This is a beautiful, sustainable residence hall and home. As well as to Tom Suntleitner, who I mentioned earlier, of Administrative Services, and all the UWO facilities staff members that were involved in this project, especially Joanne Reif, who I thought I saw in the back, but she moved up. Steve Arndt, Kevin Schumann, who were instrumental in the design process and managing of this project. I know I will personally miss our meetings with Joanne to go over fixtures and upholstery and paint swatches, and those meetings where I nag about hot water or lack thereof. I'm sure Joanne will not miss them. I'd also like to thank Myron Construction, Myron's project leaders, and their subcontractors. So you can tell there's much to celebrate today, and we are very happy and proud that you are all here to celebrate in this occasion with us. I'd like to bring up Tom Fodick, Director of Residence Life, to give some remarks. Before I do, I'd like to tell you a little bit about Tom. Tom has been a member of Residence Life staff here at UW-Oshkosh for over 30 years. He has served as the Director of Residence Life programs for the last 5. Tom knows residence halls, facilities, programs, services, residents. In fact, his expertise was sought out by ACUHO-I, which is the Association of College, University, and Housing Officers International, to be part of a working team / think tank of sorts to develop the residence hall and residence life programs of the new millennium. You can see his expertise, passion, and vision realized in this building. Tom.
Our heartfelt thanks go to the following people. UW-Oshkosh administration for their ongoing support of our long-term master plan and active input in the selection of the final site and building design. That is one sentence, a lot goes into that sentence. Specifically, Chancellor Wells and Vice Chancellor Roeder. As a mid-level administrator, we don't get to spend a lot of time in the Chancellor's inner sanctum, but I was able to spend not one meeting, but 2 meetings with the Chancellor's leadership team. And outside of the incense and the candles and the low lighting, it's just like any other meeting. I thought the hazing activity was a little excessive, but who was I to complain? But they had a lot to do with not only what this building looks like, but where it was sited, and that was a very important discussion. Also, the Scion Group, led by Jason Taylor, who I believe is here. Hi, Jason. The Scion Group out of Chicago, this firm coordinated the creation of our long-term facilities master plan, which gave us the direction necessary to initiate this project and set the stage for massive renovations that will touch every residence hall on our campus when we're all done. And Jason is here today, so thank you very much, Jason. Campus services. Petra mentioned this, I have to add to her thanks, especially Joanne Wright and Kevin Schumann for the ongoing day-to-day, minute-by-minute oversight of this project. This includes ongoing problem solving, hand-holding, and translation of construction terms that residence hall staff like me don't understand. The State Building Commission. Thanks to Gordon and his colleagues for approving a project that has changed the housing landscape on the UW-Oshkosh campus. This is a very unique building. There are other schools that have done something similar, but there are elements of this building and this site that do make it quite unique, and thanks to Gordon and his colleagues for supporting us. The Department of State Facilities. She mentioned Joe Sokol, Gary Stewart, Bill Holmont, among others, for getting this building built. It sounds simple, but it was not. Or as a character in one of my favorite films, Animal House, put it, it's not over, it's never over. This is what this project must seem like to Joe, Gary, and Bill. We're still working on some things. You don't see it, but they're being worked on. University of Wisconsin system, especially Maura Donnelly, for her always direct and clearly stated opinions and feedback. And those that have worked with Maura know exactly what I'm saying. Most of them are even welcome. And her ability to view our project in relation to similar ones undertaken on other campuses was invaluable to helping us make sound decisions while allowing us to create a unique design. The architects. VOA out of Chicago and Werner Schobers out of Green Bay, Steve, Bill, Patricia from Chicago, and Ian, Al, Steve, and Sarah from Green Bay. These folks have what I call the glamour jobs, getting to see an artistic vision come to life. Now, Steve and Al going to the construction meetings may not consider that glamour, but it's glamorous to me. We are fortunate to see the final product here today. Suffice to say, it did not always look this way. Thanks to the architects for sharing their talents and enjoying themselves while they did so. We really appreciate that. By the way, it's tough to give building tours to students when a building is half completed. We're trying to explain, this is what it's going to look like. This is going to be, and we had pictures and other things, but until you actually see the final product, it's tough. So it was neat to we gave summer tours to students who had gone through before but hadn't seen the finished building. The look on their faces when they came in to see what the final product was, they were in awe of what they saw. They feel very proud to live here. Myron Construction, to John Thompson and his many colleagues who fought through many of the frustrations of the logistical nightmare that is building construction. Completing a project of this size and scope is like planning a royal wedding. 1,000 things can and will go wrong. On that note, I'd like to thank our major contractors and subcontractors. The state of Wisconsin has what I call a unique way of organizing construction projects, and that's being kind. This presents some challenges for contractors, and we appreciate their willingness to work together collaboratively to complete this beautiful building. The City of Oshkosh staff and the City Council. The city has taken a keen interest in many campus projects, and Horizon Village has been no exception. Thanks to their support and input, this whole area of campus is close to being completely transformed. As I've given tours through Horizon, and by the way, we have given a lot of tours. A couple weeks from today, UW-Eau Claire is coming down because they're going to build a new building, which they desperately need. Everybody wants a tour, which is cool. Call us, we'll give you a tour. As I've given tours through Horizon, I've always taken a moment to share the view from one of the study lounges on the north end of one of the floors. I encourage you to do that today. As we take in the view, I explain that once the Elmwood Pedestrian Mall and Stewart, Evans, and Fletcher renovations are completed, the appearance and function of this entire area of campus will be a real boon for the campus, community, and the surrounding neighborhood. My hat's off to the campus administration and city administration for seeing that vision. When you look at the completed Reeve and the Student Success Center and imagine Fletcher, Stewart, and Evans being renovated, and when this pedestrian mall is completed, it is really going to be a sight to see. The Division of Student Affairs. Our division contains some incredibly talented and passionate staff who have been very supportive of this project, expressing the appropriate amount of curiosity and guidance. We have thoroughly enjoyed providing tours for staff groups from our division. You never know how large a staff is until they want to take a tour. Residence Life staff, from those working and living in this hall, led by Patrick Vanderzanden. Patrick, could you raise your hand? Patrick is the residence hall director in this building who, living in a new building, like living in a new house, you find all kinds of things. If you moved into a new house, you're the only one looking for things. If you live in a building with 340 students, they're also looking for things. So Patrick hears about things frequently and sometimes forcefully when things are not working exactly as they should for the 3,000 a semester. But Patrick did a lot. Also, Ben Sattler is here, I believe. Ben, if you would raise your hand. Ben's in the back. Ben coordinated the building tours for students and staff, and our staff, Diane and Holly, who I believe are in the other room in our office, who answered and continue to answer hundreds of questions about the building, how it works, and how students can sign up to live here. At times, it seemed like this was the only residence hall on campus, given all the attention it has received. Oh, and by the way, we received our first call from a parent of a high school student who was trying to figure out how to get her son to sophomore status before he gets to school so that he can qualify to live in Horizon Village. Now, the answer I've given to our staff to pass along to her is, developmentally speaking, we're not sure any traditionally aged freshman is ready to live here. She disagrees, but we appreciate her enthusiasm. The campus IT staff and the Department of Residence Life IT staff, beginning with our own Greg Disher. Is Greg in this room or is he in the other room? Greg, and also George Paul and Dave Haldeman, they have done a lot of things behind the scenes to make this building what it is. It's no secret that technological amenities are now a utility in the minds of students and families. It is a utility. Between basic internet service, door access, and surveillance, there are thousands of actions that took place inside and between the walls that most people never see. Yet if one of the technical features fails to work, we'll hear about it within minutes or seconds. The level of collaboration in this area, particularly between Residence Life, Reeve Union, Dining Services, and George Paul's office, has been tremendous. Thanks also to our UW-Oshkosh students for their vision, excitement, feedback, participation. I have to, when we did the groundbreaking, Ian, one of the architects, had mentioned during one of the planning meetings, there were what we call red-shirted people. The USRH folks that Petra mentioned before, they all wore these red shirts to all the design meetings, so he didn't know who they were. He just referred to them as the red-shirted people. Well, the red-shirted people were very involved in this process. The folks in USRH have been intimately involved with their master planning process since the Taylor renovation over 7 years ago. As I pointed out during the groundbreaking ceremony, many of the students involved with the planning of this project share their time, energy, and passion, knowing they would never get to live here. That says a lot. They did it because of their pride in our school and their desire to leave a positive legacy. Also, thanks to our future students and conference guests. By choosing to live or stay in Horizon Village, these folks will enjoy all the wonderful amenities, help pay the bond on the building, which is important to us, and provide feedback that will help point the way toward the best way to inform our future renovations projects. Next project, Fletcher Hall. We're already planning. Before I end my remarks, let me say a few words about the time capsule. We will not be placing it in the wall today as we're not quite ready to close it, but I can tell you what will be included and show you a portion. The contents will include 3 things. First, feedback collected from alums who lived in the 3 buildings, Nelson, Breeze, and Clemens, that once were located here. Thank you to our alumni office, which was able to provide contact information for about 500 of these alums. We contacted them asking for their memories of what life was like when they lived on campus. We're organizing the information we received into a special booklet, and we'll place it in the capsule. Some of the memories we're going to choose not to include. Image matters even if it's 50 years from now. So even though I won't be here, I'll feel bad if someone. So we're going to edit some of those, but for the most part, they're family oriented. Let's put it that way. Second, we will collect feedback from students currently living in the building, getting their perceptions of life in the first suite style facility on our campus. This too will be collected in booklet form and printed on the special paper that you can use to last 50 years. Finally, as a way to honor those people whose names graced Nelson, Breeze, and Clemens, 2 of our student artists, Peter Herr and Alex Ramsey, who if you could stand up and be recognized, Peter and Alex. They did a tremendous job with this. And the product of the work is in the next room, and when you go in to get cupcakes and goodies, you can actually see what they have done. But Peter and Alex designed and built 4 medallions, 1 for the new building and 1 for each of the 3 buildings formerly located on this site. On one side of the medallion is an image of the person each of the 3 buildings was named after, and on the other is some historical information about the building and who lived here when it last housed students. And to honor the new building, we have a medallion with an image of Horizon Village on one side, and an image of our longtime Director of Housing, Jim Chitwood, on the other. Jim, could you stand and be recognized? There he is. I personally selected the image, Jim, so if you don't like it, it's my fault. In this way, we have created a way to honor 4 people who played significant roles in making the UW-Oshkosh community what it is today. If you could, please join me in honoring Jim, Peter, and Alex, the students whose work will be housed on time capsule for the next 50 years.
I think we've mentioned earlier that students have played a huge role in the concept, design, siting, construction, and the programming of this new building. We are blessed here at UW-Oshkosh with great student leadership. They're involved, they're active, and engaged. And actually, they're award-winning within some of the Residence Hall associations. Giving remarks on behalf of the student leaders and USRH is Madison Schmidt, who is this year's president of USRH. Madison is a senior, hopefully graduating, and not that we want to get rid of you, but in spring of 13. With majors in sociology and anthropology. She lives on the honors floor in South Scott, and her hometown is Neenah. Madison has been actively involved in USRH, Alpha Lambda Delta, which is our first-year student honorary organization, and particularly in admissions, having served as a Titan Gold Corps member, admissions tour guide, and many may recognize Madison as she is featured on admissions printed publications and social media campaign. She's kind of our UWO YouTube sensation. Madison.
Well, thank you very much, Petra. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Madison Schmidt, and I've been asked to speak on behalf of all students that are living on campus. And when I became president of United Students and Residence Halls, I knew that representing students would be a part of the job. But I just never expected to have the honor of speaking in front of all of you at a dedication for a building. So that's a pretty big deal. Some of you may remember the dedication of Sage Hall this past year, the newest academic building on campus. But it's been a while since the university has opened the doors of a new residence hall. And when the doors to Horizon were opened, we were all amazed at what we saw. Taking a tour of the building was a really breathtaking experience. As I looked in the rooms, I actually started to feel jealous of all my friends that had claimed their spots as the first residents of this building. I don't think I was the only one, though. I'm pretty sure I heard a lot of residence life staff say the same thing. But besides the larger bedrooms and private bathrooms, the lounges looked modern and inviting, the color schemes were bright and lively, and the views outside the windows were incredible. In accordance with the university's environmentally friendly practices, green innovations were considered essentials when creating the building. The sparkling floor that you may have noticed on the way in, on the first floor, is elegant but easy to replace and easier and greener to make. Indoor bike storage encouraged students to use a friendly alternative to a car And motion sensor lighting in the hallways can conserve energy and electricity that may otherwise go wasted and unused. When considering all of these innovations, I can only describe them in one way, and that's impressive. But with all the newness of Horizon, it's very exciting. It can be bittersweet, especially for the students who had once called Nelson, Breeze, and Clemens home. The 3 residence halls were opened between 1960 and 1965 and housed thousands of students during their time. They were also the first residence halls to gain the title of the first-year experience in freshman living environments, especially during their final years. When alumni come back to tour campus with their sons and daughters, I often hear about the many memories that these buildings contained, the friends that were made, and the life lessons that were learned along the way. But the past buildings have not been forgotten. The most profound remembrance of these revered buildings is actually found right at the hearth, traditionally a place where people gathered together. The stones used for the fireplace were taken from the outside of the NBC village. Seeing this made me realize how UW-Oshkosh itself is a gathering of both old and new. When looking at the campus, one can see a mixture of the old and new academic and residence buildings, new students and returners, history and technological advancements. The old aspects of campus are comfortable and familiar because we know them. We understand the rules, we know how they function. But the new, on the other hand, can be scary and different. We work on them via trial and error. But when the old and new are brought together, amazing things can happen. We have combined the wisdom of the past with the freedom of trying new things. We have things to memorialize and new traditions to start. We also have the memories from the past and present, tying it all together, benefiting all those that are part of this experience. Even now, as we have gathered here for the dedication ceremony, we are helping to create a unique experience which the University of Wisconsin-Oshkosh can then offer to its students. On behalf of all students and alumni that have called the residence halls their home, I'd like to thank you for this opportunity to be part of this university's history and to contribute to its future. Thank you.
Thank you, Madison, and I'd like to also thank all of our students, staff, and leaders, and all you've done for this project and to make our halls vibrant, engaged, living, learning environments that they are today. Though this building was not built with taxpayer dollars, it needs approvals and support from a number of state agencies and groups. One such group was the Building Commission. Gordon Hintz was a member and actually the chair of the Building Commission when we brought this project forward. The commission and its chair's support were greatly appreciated. Providing remarks on behalf of the commission and the legislature, Gordon Hintz, Wisconsin Assembly Person of the 54th.
Thank you very much, Vice Chancellor Roeder and Mr. Bodick and Chancellor Wells and Madison and everybody that's here today. As a member of the State Building Commission and the representative for the 54th Assembly District where UW-Oshkosh is, I'm really proud to be here for the opening of Horizon Village. Even in these political times, you know, we need to look at all the examples of success, and this is definitely one of them. The State Building Commission is made up of 3 senators and 3 members of the Assembly, the governor and one of the governor's appointments. And contrary to a lot of the other issues that may divide us, this has been one of the best places in my time to work where we tend to agree more than we disagree. We tend to support projects that enhance the state of Wisconsin, infrastructure that contributes to the state of Wisconsin, and that has value to it. And as a member of the Building Commission, I want to thank the Chancellor and Vice Chancellor Sunleitner and their team and Mr. Fodick and everybody that's been involved, because over the years in my time on the Building Commission, you've seen we've had a number of projects that have come through the state that we've had to approve, and they're there to answer every question. There's almost a brand here at UW-Oshkosh of how we do things, and it makes our job as legislators in approving the project when we ask questions that much easier, and I really want to thank them for being there and asking us, or answering our questions. And I want to thank my colleagues for their support. When we go through these things, especially when it's residence halls, we have questions about, you know, does this enhance the learning environment for students? And I think when we were hearing about this and when we were looking at other suite-style dorms around the state, the overwhelming answer is yes. this project reflects the input and desires not only of current students, but for future students. When we look at value, we look at it more and measure, more than just the measure of dollars, but recognize that it's funded with student fees. But we recognize this is going to be here, and it's going to be a tool to recruit students who want to learn here, who want to be closer to the library, who want to be closer to the union. The commitment to sustainability, it bothers some of my Madison friends who like to think that they're the most sustainable, but everything that we've done on this campus continues what has been sought out both by the students and the commitment by the administration. Horizon Village meets a platinum rating by the U.S. Green Building Council. It includes eco-friendly elements, including a green roof, trash enclosure, geothermal ground source heat pump for heating, cooling, heat recovery, from Residence Life Data Center, geothermal hot water production, and specialized bicycle storage. I don't even know what all that means, but it contributes to sustainability, and it sounds good. Lastly, I will say that the building looks good. When I sat at Titan Stadium for the UW-Oshkosh game, you could look over the river on a beautiful fall day and you saw it go in the distance. And I don't know if certain buildings were built during bad eras, but it seems to me this building looks good today and it will look good in the future. And it makes me proud to be both a representative of this university and city, and appreciate the opportunity to be here today. Thank you very much.
And more oversight. I wanted to save the best for last. Chancellor Wells has been an advocate not only for this building, but for all our facilities and campus places that enhance and support student learning and success. This advocacy goes beyond facilities and includes campus programs and services. Chancellor Wells has also pushed us to design and construct a building that's not only green, in this case, LEED Gold, but one that looks to the future needs of our campus and our students. Chancellor Wells will tell you that function and green should not take away from aesthetics and beauty, and challenge us to do right at all levels. I think mission accomplished. Chancellor Wells has truly been an inspiration and driving force behind this project. On behalf of those living and learning in this hall and the students present and future, thank you, Chancellor Wells, for your leadership, vision, and support. I'm pleased at this point to introduce Chancellor Richard H. Wells, the 10th Chancellor of UW-Oshkosh, for his remarks.
I'm really moved by that and that great gratitude. And they told me that the penthouse for me is almost done. Wasn't there supposed to be a penthouse up there?
But it's also the heating, ventilating.
Oh, thank you, Thomas.
And custodial storage.
And custodial storage. Right? It got deducted, I guess, on the bidding. Well, part of my job is to kind of wrap up and see if my colleagues missed anything. And I'm really having a hard time figuring out what they missed, but they did miss announcing the door prize. So if you're sitting in the front row, you're going to get one free semester staying in Horizon Village. Oh, darn, except for Tom. One of the things that makes me very proud of our university is how well we listen to our students. And that's been, I think, a long legacy at UW-Oshkosh. But over the last, I'm in my 13th year now, I've been very impressed by how engaged, demanding to be engaged our students are, and how creative and thoughtful, but more importantly, how the student affairs folks here, as well as all of the administration, faculty and staff that have responsibility, for example, around facilities, listen to our students. And one of the things that really, I think, characterizes and makes our facilities distinctive is because we listen to our students. And I thought when we first started to figure out where we were going to place this residence hall, I thought, wow, let's put it down on the river, right next to the recreation center, student wellness and recreation center. And it just seemed to make sense to me. We were trying to front the campus onto the river, and that was where I wanted it to go, right? Well, the students didn't want it to go there, right? So I said, no, we got to really put it there. We're going to put it there. So they came up and said, no, what's really wonderful about our campus is how compact it is and how close things are. And we want to put it on the Nelson Breeze Clement site. And so we thought about that, and then I forget which student or group of students said, and Chancellor, by the way, the reason we want it there, we want to be close to the library. Now, I think I should believe them. You know, how do you turn down, you know, placing a building because the students want to be close to the library? But it is an outstanding facility, and it's really a great example of how well people here at UW-Oshkosh, the faculty, the staff, the students, our architects that come in, our construction people, we really work quite well together. Now, we're also people that aren't afraid to express our opinions and push the envelope and all that kind of thing. And so we've established, I think, an outstanding team to accomplish projects like this. And it's very, very important for a university with the distinctiveness that UW-Oshkosh has as a residential campus. That market, quite frankly, when you look out for that kind of campus, getting that type of education, you know, kind of in real space. We were doing a lot of things, of course, on the internet and all that kind of thing. But really, what distinguishes us is our commitment to being a village, a community, a place where thousands of students come and study and eat and play and sleep. You know, so that's a market that's becoming much more competitive. And if UW-Oshkosh doesn't keep its facilities up, because that's what you have to do in that market, we're not going to be serving the students the way that we should now and into the future. And someone asked me, he said, well, that's, you know, this is a market that eventually will go the way of the dinosaurs. And I said, well, I don't think so. So one of the things I watch is, are people still standing in line and going to Disney World? You know, people still have this need to be together with each other in the same space. So if the Disney World attendance is starting to go down, then I'm going to get really nervous here. But this is just a real testimony to how hard everyone's working here on behalf of our students and for our students, so that we can really enhance the quality of education for them with state-of-the-art facilities. It's true you can get a good education in a barn, but you get a great education in a palace. And I think at a public university, our students deserve to get a great education in a palace. And it needs to be done in such a way, which is another major challenge for us, so that it's affordable. And so a lot of you may not know this, but Tom and Petra and their colleagues spent a lot of time studying what we should do, how many rooms we should have, what kind of beds basically, what kind of rooms should they be, what kinds of choices should be out there. We studied the outside market. A lot of our neighbors here in Oshkosh are making their living by serving our students well with all types of rental properties, homes, new apartment style, suite style buildings. And so we didn't want to get into competition with that. We're kind of blessed to have that option around. I think we estimate probably about 3,000 students living within a few blocks from the campus. And there were roughly, 3,400 beds, Tom, right? In our plan, we wanted to cut them down to 31 or 3,200 actually. And we felt we needed to have about 10% of our beds being in a suite style. This is more expensive to live here, but we have to make sure, and we've been doing that with Taylor, for example, that when we renovate the other spaces, there are more affordable options, because people are having a difficult time affording a very high quality education. So while we want to have the best facilities we possibly can, we need to design them and take care of them in a way that they can be used and reused and be affordable for our students now and in the future to get an outstanding education. So I really want to compliment the student affairs side of the house for doing such a fabulous job with the planning. You know, you can do this as we did in the 60s on this campus and several others. We built more dorms than we needed. It wasn't very good planning. You know, that's why with Greenhagen is there. You know, we overbuilt, and you sure don't want to make that particular mistake. So you have to, you know, figure out and look out ahead and right size your residence life system and the number of beds that make sense to put in there, so that you don't overexpend. So that's I think something that we want to make sure we keep an eye on, how we can use our residence hall facilities to enhance the quality of education in an affordable way for our students. And I think this hall is a great testament to that. So congratulations to everybody, and thank you for coming this afternoon.
Thank you, Chancellor Wells. This ends the ceremony portion of this. One last time, I would like to thank everybody that has been involved in this project. You know, I know it's been a labor of love, and it has been an impressive, outstanding product as a result of that. So thank you very much. I don't think we can say thank you enough. That's what my grandmother says. Always err on saying thank you as many times as you possibly can. So normally we have a little bit of a ribbon cutting ceremony. Ribbon did not get here. So at this time I ask that you all join us in the room adjacent to this for photo opportunities.
Ba ba ba